Welcome to Who Wants to Be an Entrepreneur with Nancy Gaskins, where we inspire and teach everyday people how to create, fund, and live a life worth smiling about. And I believe the best way to do that is by owning and operating your own business. My name is Nancy Gaskins, and I am your host. All my shows are recorded and archived so you can listen and learn online all year long, 24/7. You can find us on all of your social media channels like Facebook, YouTube, and you're invited to join us each Friday from 11:30 to 1 on Zoom. This is our weekly Lunch and Learn Zoom Friday event where we have entrepreneurs from all over the world come in and gather. We share tips, best practices, we practice our elevator pitch, and we do business together. So if you're looking for a tribe to call your own and you want to rise higher, go further, faster, guess what? We're it. So come join us.
Yeah.
So who do you know that dreams of owning and operating their business someday? Well, guess what? Maybe their someday should already be here. We want you to start thinking outside the box. We want you to think about, maybe you've been playing small. Maybe you're an entrepreneur who don't have a clue. Maybe you've considered owning and operating your own business, but don't know where to get started. So what I've done is this fall, I've invited a lot of aspiring, emerging, and seasoned entrepreneurs to come onto our show and to share their tips. What they're doing is they're going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. These are real people just like you and I who've agreed to come on here and share their stories in hopes of inspiring you to follow your entrepreneurial dreams. I'm very excited about our wonderful, wonderful guest today. Miss Lorrie Scott, which is the Queen of Green. Lorrie's built a clientele all over the world, from Vail, Colorado to the south of France and all places in between. For the past 4 years, she's owned her own holistic center in a small southern Colorado mountain town where she has been a community leader as well as a business person. A project that's been in the wings for a while has come to the forefront in 2020. She is now the co-founder and vice president, working along with her brother Jeffrey Scott, founder of Green Village Biofertilizers. This is the production and marketing of an extraordinary algae-based soil amendment that is literally life for the soil. Every houseplant owner or gardener is going to want to hear more. So welcome to the show, the Queen of Green, Miss Lorrie Scott.
Nancy, darling, so good to see you.
Oh, it's fabulous to have you on here.
It's so good to be seen, for sure.
So take a few minutes and share your story. How did you become an entrepreneur, and how did you become the Queen of Green?
Well, Nancy, I had one job in my life that was from 9 to 5. I think I was about 19, and it lasted about 2 months. And that was enough for me. I was like, no, this is not working for me. So from then on, I, unbeknownst to myself, was doing the entrepreneur world. As a child, it's always been about service for me. As a child, my family had a restaurant, and it was a joy to serve people. I did that for almost 20 years. I hate to say 20 years. And then I jumped into a different service, holistic therapy and massage therapy. And that's how I managed to build a clientele around the world. I actually even got to do massage in the south of France. I lived in Australia, and I had the honor of touching people and touching their lives in all those places. So this year, though, with 2020, and as everyone has tried to reinvent ourselves, my pivot is into a larger scope of service, and I feel it is by far my most vital work. My brother has had a passion for over 10 years, over a decade, about these little critters called algae and the potency and potential they have to change our world. Algae is probably one of the first inhabitants of this planet, and people are researching like crazy how to put it into our biofertilizers and to exchange for plastics. So our field of expertise, his field of expertise, is getting it down to ground level. And I joined the team 2 years ago, and I'm so proud to support him and his tenacity. And he does have the definition of entrepreneur because he's worked for free and he's never given up. He's, like Colonel Sanders, the 5 million doors, closing his doors. But as life continues on in the COVID world, and all of a sudden the climate change world, there's becoming more and more evidence of how important our topsoil is. And that's what this product is all about, is regenerating our topsoil.
So let's dig into that just a little bit. Let's talk about this magical product that you guys have created.
Exactly.
Tell us who do you help, who's your target market, and tell us a little bit more about this magic product.
Sure, of course. So Nancy, do I understand this? Are you a gardener?
Actually, I am. My husband more so than me. But,
is he a master gardener?
No, but we're members of our garden club for several years, and I've served on the board. And Florida is a little bit different than everywhere else, so we're real curious to find out about how this can help us down here. So I'm excited.
Okay, exactly. Well, they don't call them master gardeners for nothing. I mean, there is the art of gardening, and of course, like you just mentioned, in each part of our country and the world, there's different soils and different concerns. But I would say that all gardeners, and you can correct me, but don't all gardeners want the most yield out of their efforts and work?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And wouldn't you like to see, now maybe in Florida, water isn't a problem, but would you like to see your water bill go down as you go through your garden season?
Sure.
So that's what we're talking about here at Green Village, our magic algae grow product. Algae grow, like Miracle Grow, but greener. Algae grow can do that for you because it is different than other soil amendments.
So you talked about one of the things previously said, it's like having a green smoothie that feeds the soil, which in turn feeds the plants. So
thank you.
How would it be like a green smoothie? I drink green smoothies, so I know how wonderful and healthy that is. I love that, how you said that.
Exactly, that analogy. Thank you so much. I mix some up. So where to start? First of all, I'll show you. I think I'll do this.
Yeah.
So this is some algae grow. This is just a clear picture. Now, so this is algae grow, and then this is another organic, very top shelf fertilizer. The same thing. These are fertilizers. This is algae grow is a bio fertilizer, and so is this. So you can see there's a little difference in the products. So what makes algae grow different is, and why I get so pumped up about it. So the algae is still actually alive, and we're in the process we are in the process of growing our very own algae. So it will be totally controlled, and we'll have infinite supply of it because we're going to be the producers of it. So why you want algae in your soil, why it's a green smoothie. Algae in itself, since it's living, it will continue to grow. And then we put some more secret ingredients, which really aren't that secret, but we won't get into it. They're on the label. But you put all these together, and it's like putting 4 different garden products that you'd have to go buy separately. They say garden experts go get this, this, this. Well, this is all in one container. And the algae is alive, and algae is a carbohydrate. And it's like a candy cane, or what's the candy at the fairs, candy to all the other little micro organisms in the soil, which are bazillions of microorganisms. So also what algae has its own vitamins, its own amino acids, and its carbohydrates, which is exactly what we put in our smoothies. We make sure we have the minerals, the aminos, in fact, some people put chlorella, which is algae, in your green drink. So we have put everything that your soil needs in one product. So you put that in the soil, and it's like cotton candy to the ingredients in the soil, all the little creatures, and they love it. And then, so the algae keeps growing. So you're not just putting in one application and it sits there, because it continues to grow, and that's why it's life for the soil. As you water it, you still need to water it some in the beginning for sure to cultivate it, and then it continues to grow. And then once its cycle of life is done, the algae dies, it adds another layer of carbon to the soil. So it's like a composting element, but in short order. You know, our composting, again, is an art. Composting is for a lot of people, it's not for everyone. So that's why, that's what makes it different. You're actually building the soil biology as you are growing your garden. So all the microorganisms will go into the soil, and then the roots of the plants will go for that, and then the plants will grow, and your food will be even yummier and healthier. And Nancy, your veggies will love you for this.
So how does the water bill fit into all of this? Okay, so we've got this, and the algae is growing in your soil.
Right, got that. And so the next piece, thanks for asking me that. So while it's growing in your soil, it's actually building up, and I'm going to try to show this, my little props. The soil if you can see, this soil is crumbly, and it's also rich in color. We've only used algae grow one season on this plot of land. And why that's important, they're called soil aggregates. And soil aggregates are actually what creates the space and what will hold the water. So you're giving, as the ground soil gets healthier, it will hold the water longer. So you don't have to water as often. And that's why you might, you have to start your garden, but as the season goes on, you might only have to water every 3 days instead of every day, because the soil content is healthier and it'll hold that water moisture longer. So especially not so much Florida with all your water, but in other parts of our country, where drought is, water shortage is such a concern.
And some people, who have to water their garden, like you said, the water bill, they may not have a well, or, all of that stuff. So I can definitely see. And plus, you want that soil to be, you want them veggies to be a lot more yummy.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So cool. All right.
So you were talking about the topsoil and dirt and all of that. And I know a lot of people don't, realize the importance of why they should care about that topsoil. Why is that so important?
Nancy, do you have children?
Yes, I do, and grandchildren.
Okay, so right there is why everyone should care about topsoil. Children and your grandchildren and their grandchildren. Because our beautiful planet, as we continue to grow in population and all our worldly events, we are actually depleting our topsoil. There are 30% of the world's topsoil, which is this black, beautiful soil, that's how our food is grown, is gone. And when I say it's depleted, it doesn't have life anymore. It's been sterilized of all those little critters. And then this is topsoil turns into what's dirt. And you can see dirt because it's chalky-like and it has no life. And it's the dirt that caused the dust bowls and the dirt will blow away. And there can be no sustainable life. So that's why we want to start preserving our topsoil. And there's things we can do in our, and also there's a new science that topsoil can actually, Mother Earth has our back. Even though we tend to mess up a lot and have all these pesticides and toxins and this and that, Mother Earth still has our back. And how is it? It's right under our feet, the earth, the ground. The topsoil they're discovering, again, new science, and it's, controversial, but hey, why don't you go with what's a possibility? It's called drawdown, and that healthy soil, topsoil, can draw the carbons out of the air and sequester it into the earth, which then can calm down the global warming and can actually calm all these crazy weather patterns. Which, when I heard that, I thought that was fantastic. I just heard this new science. I think it's been around for a few years, which then makes the brilliance of my brothers knowing, because algae grow can be a huge component in regenerating our topsoil for everyone. And you can start in your own backyard. You can start by doing your garden. And that's how we can all become part of the solution.
Wow, that is very interesting. I can't
Isn't
wait to
it?
learn more
I know.
about that. So let's change gears for just a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your entrepreneurial journey. I love that you said you only had one job, and I happen to know, you went to the South of France and you worked on some of them beautiful luxury yachts and all that stuff. So that is so cool. So what is some tips and advice that you'd give somebody that's interested in becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, if in your nature, like my nature, that you couldn't do that 9-to-5 job, then don't despair, don't do it. Follow your heart, follow your soul, because there are a lot of other options, especially in this world of technology. Bazillions of other options than sitting in a 9-to-5 job. And at the time that I did it, I was kind of reckless and went to the wind. I've heard people roll their eyes like, what the hell are you doing, lady? But you know what? I had to go with that. And so for the entrepreneurs, open-hearted soul, just go for it. Would be
just think of all those stories you're going to have for your kids and grandkids one day.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, so what lessons have you learned? Is there something that you know now that you wished you'd know then?
Well, I have also had this story facade that I was a lone wolf and I had to do it on my own, and I must hero's journey on my own, and I've discovered that that's not always, it's not necessary now. We're more tribal, and even as your wonderful connection and your support, there's so much more support out there. So don't feel like you have to be the hero's journey lone wolf on your own, but reach out. There's so many people, and I think I was told that over and over. I just didn't hear it.
I think as entrepreneurs, we don't want to hear it. I was the same doggone way. You think, I know best, I can do it better than anybody. And instead of realizing, why should we reinvent the wheel? Why can't we learn from other people? We need to open up our ears and listen so that we don't have to make the same mistakes that everybody else has done. And, there's a big old world out there, and people have traveled where we want to go. So why not let them clear the path for us?
Exactly. That was my thought for sure.
It takes a while, and it's still a little bit hard sometimes, when because like you are, that's just kind of our mindset, I think, as entrepreneurs.
Right.
So, do you have a special offer for our listeners today?
I do. I have, so our website, where to find more, and my brother is a science geek. I mean, I've made this into human terms, but you want to geek out, we can get you to the mad scientist at Green Village. We didn't name him mad scientist for nothing. I'm like, all right, stop. But you can find us there's two websites, but the main one, www.algaegrow.com. It's ALGAE.com. And we are having, since you've listened to us and today, 10% off on any of our products. And all you have to do is put in welcome in all caps in the code box and get 10% off. We're in the beginning of thinking of creating a Green Village club, and where we might have more specials and everyone can join in, and maybe as we create this Green Village I think we should call it Green Village Village, that we can pool our money and get this resources to poor areas of the world and that type of thing. So anyway, but that's
Absolutely. You need to make sure that everybody that's ordered your product takes a picture with their stuff, and that way you can have all that on your website. Be super cool. Make sure, yeah, do it before and after.
Exactly. And then the other thing, you could reach out to me. My, what is it, www.calendly/Lorrie Scott. Will that be posted somewhere for people?
Yes, I'll put all of your links in the description so that they can just click right on that.
And I'll be love to talk to you for 15 minutes or give you a consultation on how to exactly use algae grow and how simple it is. And also this is for the beginner gardener. This is fantastic for the beginner gardener or for the house plant owner with the black thumb. So we've got so many options, all the way up to the larger regenerative farmers. It's all our targets. So good.
Well, can you think of anything that I've left out that you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
I think we've done a full scope because stay tuned, and I will get more information about our Green Village, and then and also I think that was my invitation is I think everyone should join us on Friday lunch and learn. You can come as a guest for 2 times and check us out and see what huge value and what an asset Nancy is.
We've had such a fun time, and I have just loved getting to know you and watching you evolve. And I love your elevator pitch, and you look like a queen. I truly love that. Just absolutely beautiful. So, folks, you have been listening to Lorrie Scott, the Queen of Green, algaegrow.com. So join us next time as we explore a little further into the wonderful world of entrepreneurship. We offer tips and advice on how everyday people like you and me are building sustainable business models that can fund the life of your dreams. You've been listening to Nancy Gaskin's Who Wants to Be an Entrepreneur? Maybe you've been dreaming of owning and operating a business someday. Maybe someday is today. Exactly. See you next time. Thank you very much, Lorrie. Talk soon.